Oh, it's live. This is so weird. Okay. Hello. I'm Nelly. Wow, this is it's facing you the other way. Like it twists. I don't like looking at myself like that. um, Hi, I'm Nelly. I am an author. Used to call myself a full indie author as like a career. Now I'm more hobby indie author, if you can call it that. But I have how many books out right now? I have 12 books out, 9 of which are novels, 3 are novellas. Six of the 12 are in the Catcher series. The 3 novels there follow a different couple each, and the 3 novellas go along with those, follow a different couple each. So you get 6 couples there, and then 4 of them go in the Widow Magic series. The Catcher series is romantasy. It's like romance in a fantasy world, so it's like pure romance. Widow Magic is a paranormal romance set in urban fantasy, following 3 sisters and their love lives, mostly following the middle sister, but following all of them. It is kind of like a charmed retelling. Think of it like that. And then I have my 2 contemporary romances. The first one, Buttercup Baby, is my bestseller. It is a brother's best friend, really fluffy, steamy, cutesy. Like, there's no big problem in that book, you know? And then we have Promise of a Lifetime, which is I call it a soft dark romance because it's definitely not a dark romance, following a detective and the suspect that he arrests at the beginning of of the book. Um, and yeah, I just finished Temptations of a Good Girl, writing draft 1 of Temptations of a Good Girl, which is going to be the spin off to Promise of a Lifetime, following you meet these mafia brothers in Promise. So you're going to be following the Mafia brothers in this series. First one follows one of the brothers. And yeah, I just finished that one. So now we are back on to writing my fantasies. So I'm currently in the middle of 2 fantasies. They're not in the same world, but they have the same idea at the top level, but done very differently. So Broken, I finished draft 2 of Broken at the end of July. I did draft 1 of both Broken and Beasts in January. I was going crazy. I did 100,000 word month. I worked on a bunch of stuff. In July, I finished draft 2 of Broken. It took me way longer than I was anticipating. But that one is about God's wrath. When I say God, it's like these fantasy gods. Well, fantasy god, there's only one. Not our real world one. So that one's about God's wrath. And it follows a different peoples as they go into a tournament that happens every year. Kind of think a soft version of the Hunger Games, like very soft version of the Hunger Games, because there isn't supposed to be any death or anything like that. So it's that. But we have the Alexi, which are vampires essentially, and the Magri, which are like mages, witches, not really witches, like mages. And their lands are kind of the furthest away from each other because the Magri blood is the most appetizing to the Alexi, so they just stay away from each other. Well, it turns out that this one Alexi, Alistair, our main male character, needs to enter this tournament. And there's only, Willy Wonka style, there's only a few tickets that go out. Once your blood is on the ticket, you're part of the competition. And it's a couples competition, so it has to be one male, one female. So he's going around looking for a ticket because he's like, I'm getting into this competition. Nor our Magri was betrayed, literally first page, was betrayed, basically sold to a pirate, and the pirate wants to enter into the competition with her because he's like, you're a mage, you can help me with your magic. So he puts her blood on the ticket that he had, but his blood's not on it yet. So Alistair gets to it, puts his blood on it, they enter competition together, and stuff ensues. It is a romance, but it's a slow romance, so you're not. I mean, I've written 2 drafts already, and there's still been no kissing, so I don't anticipate any kissing happening. Also, I'm really sorry about this light. Where is it? This one. I don't know how to move that out of the way. So that's one of the fantasies I've been working on. The second one is on the opposite side of that, God's grace. And it follows Tali, our main character. Her name is Natalia. She goes by Tali. And Lachlan goes by Loch, as they like figure out Old Tongue, which is a language that the monsters are God's children speak. And so they're working through that because they're fighting something that's happened to them, fighting the king. So this one follows more monsters, men, and the combination of the two, which are the beasts. That's why it's called Beasts. So that's that one. Funnily enough, actually, pause. Beast is also, it's the same as Broken in the sense that it's a fantasy romance, but it's softer romance. So it's much slower. Tali and Loch certainly don't kiss in this book. They don't really, like, not much happens between them at all, but you can tell that it's a progressing romance. But Beast does have multiple side couples, whereas Broken doesn't really have side couples. I mean, it does, but not the same way that Beast does, where you're gonna get all their perspectives and stuff. So you get more romance in Beast, but you get more romance in the main character in Broken, but you get more romance in Beasts, if that makes sense. Funnily enough, while Beast is about God's grace and Broken is about God's wrath, the type of book it is actually reversed. So Broken is, neither of them are technically lighthearted, but Broken is more lighthearted, and Beast is more emotional, funnily enough. But anyway, that was a big rant of the books I have out and the books coming out. They are also, so the books I have out currently range, I'd say, between 3 to 6 steamy scenes a book, somewhere around, maybe 2 to 6 steamy scenes a book, somewhere around there. The steamiest ones I'd say are probably either Buttercup Broken or With the Ice Catching Twilight. There's a really long one in Claiming Darkness as well. But anyway, so there's quite a bit of steam, but also I've reread 2 of them recently, and it's not as bad as, like, not bad, but like it's not as much as I thought it was going to be. So clearly I'm like hyping it up in my head compared to what, anyway. These books, Temptations does have more steam, but Promise I think has 2 steamy scenes in the whole book. Temptations I think is going to have 3 or 4. Currently it has 1, but that's in draft 1. So that one will have a few steamy scenes. In terms of Broken and Beasts, I'm not sure if they're going to be steamy fantasies or not. In book 1, obviously they're not, because they're not even kissing in book 1. But that is also a difference here. It might be, it might not be. We'll see. But today, that's an 8-minute introduction. Just to say, I have spent, basically the way my process works for draft 2, well, for draft 2 and onwards, for all of the drafts after draft 1, is I go through and I reread the draft right before it. So at this time, I reread draft 1. I finished my reread yesterday, so it took like 2 days. So good, by the way. It was so good. I was sitting in a coffee shop doing it. I kind of wish I had done it on a live, so my reaction would be here. But also, you would have just, I mean, to be fair, when you're writing, you're just going to be sitting there. But the pacing was beautiful. The storyline was beautiful. Character development was not, like, it wasn't bad for a draft 1. Basically, what I'm saying is none of it was bad for a draft 1. The pacing was perfect. I was like, this is already going really well. I'm kind of nervous I'm going to mess up the pacing. But basically what I do is I go through and I reread everything I currently have, not making changes. And then I open a different file and I write a new outline. And the new outline has, as I'm rereading each scene, I put into the new outline. And then either, sometimes it comes to me while I'm reading, sometimes at the end. Usually it's at the end. But sometimes if it comes to me while I'm reading, I will add plus signs. And I'll be like, okay, add a scene here, add a scene here. Or at the very end, like I'm going to do today, I will go through and I'll be like, okay, I need to add a scene here and stuff. Sometimes it's on just the plot. Like I know, like draft 1 for Beasts, I hadn't written the last word. I didn't written the climax. So the last, I don't know how many chapters it could be yet, maybe 3 or 4 chapters. I need to add in for sure. That's just the basic plot. That's the overarching basic plot. And then I need to go into subplots and be like, okay, this subplot, do I need to add scenes for it? Usually yes. If it's a draft 2, usually yes, because draft 1, underwriter, there's so much missing for me. So that is what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to be working on Beast's outline for draft 2, as well as working on Faith's outline for draft 1. Faith is going to be the prequel to Beast. Essentially, in Beast, the first couple of chapters, it was 4, now I think it's 3, depends, we'll see. First couple of chapters are kind of like a prologue. And then you skip 18 months, and then you start the actual book. Those 18 months are what I'm currently calling Faith. It's not going to be called Faith. So I want to do a prequel there where it's going to be something where you can read it, but you don't have to read it. And essentially it's going to be the time of all of our characters, not just 1 or 2. It's going to be all of our characters' experiences in those 18 months. So yeah, I'd like to get that started. It doesn't have to be perfect. Again, it's a draft 1, but I'd like to outline some of it. Yeah. Okay. We are going to get started. We're 11 and a half minutes in, and we're finally getting started. I'm going to be working on my iPad because that's just normally where I work, because I have a Dropbox with Scrivener opened up on my laptop, on my iPad. So give me 1 second while I get this pulled up. So currently, look, I'll show you. We have, oh, you can't even see it. There you go. We have all of my stories there. And we're currently working on Beast Draft 2. Currently, okay, so it has parts. So each part has a little scene to it. It has chapters, and then it has I guess it's like a POV, a God's perspective, or kind of like God's narration clips. Is that what you would call it? I don't know. So currently we have 4 parts, but the 4th part doesn't have anything written in it. We have 3 parts, 3 God's perspectives in a sense. The God's perspectives are very short, by the way. They're like maybe 100 to 300 words. And we have 30 chapters, approximately 55 scenes right there. So yeah. And I think maybe 4 to 5 of them are already plus signs because I already knew those needed to be added. Yeah, we're gonna get started. Let's start in here. I also have my keyboard here. I also have a couple of bullet points as I was reading through yesterday. I was like, oh yeah, I need to remember this. I need to remember this. So those I will be adding to. But first, let's put this in. How should we do? This was the problem of why I didn't do it in draft 1, because I don't know how I want it to continue. I know exactly how I want it to end. Exactly is a harsh word. I know how I want it to end, and I knew in draft 1 because I wrote like 50 words for it. But let's call it here. Let's say they do this, and let's call it that. The worst part also about writing any of these, not the outline, the actual book, is at the beginning you can do a lot more scenes because you're so excited about being in the book. But as you continue throughout the writing process, you start to lose steam. So by the time you get to the climax, you're like out of energy. Sometimes I also like to start at the climax, but not today. Usually I do that starting draft 3 because then I have a solid foundation for the story, whereas draft 1 is not a solid foundation for the story ever. Even something as good as this one was, it's not a solid foundation for the story. Also, this is draft 1 now. I think this one had a different draft, or maybe I had different scenes for this first draft, because as I was reading it, I was like, oh, I remember when this. Yeah, I think this one had a 0.5 draft or 0 draft, because I remember specific scenes that I had written out, or maybe I had just outlined them and didn't work out. I don't remember. I could probably find it, but I don't remember. How do I want to go from there to there? I don't know. Travel to ooh, I don't know. Okay. I also don't, to be fair, like I say, I don't know what I want part 4 to be either, but when I get to it, it'll be easier to come to me. The reason I didn't know part 4 this time around for draft 1 was because I didn't know how I wanted the climax to go. But once I get closer to the climax and I figure out the climax, part 4 will be easy. That's how I figured out all the other parts. Ooh, let's actually keep you when also in Beasts you follow Nor. No, you don't. Nor is in Broken. You follow Tali and Tali's 2 best friends. Their names are Elle and Gwen. Well, Elizabeth and Gwendolyn. I didn't know this when I was naming them. Also, when I name people, I don't name them like it's their names. It's just they tell me what their names are. But I didn't realize this. But in what book is it in? Silver Flames, Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. Oh, what were their names? Her name is Gwen. One of the friends' names is Gwen. The other one's Emery. So it's another E name. So it literally sounds, and her name is Nesta. Oh my god. And Tali's real name is Natalia. It literally sounds like I just copied those 3. But I promise I didn't. It just turned out that way. So it's okay. Tali's personality is nothing like Nesta. I probably Gwen and Emery's aren't like Gwen and Els either. Yeah. I realized it after, I think I was like done with draft 1 when I realized it. I was like, oh crap. Oh well. Okay, we got that one. I literally just need to write 2 more scenes here, and then the climax for now. I'll probably add to it when I get to it. We'll be done. There you go, that one. Final one here. I don't know. I also don't know how to make this one lead to that final scene. Also, the final scene I just made up right here, so it might not happen that way. The final part of the scene will happen that way, but I don't know how it'll get there. So maybe we'll just leave this empty, knowing that I need to come back to it now or throughout the writing process. Because I do this too, where in the writing process, I will also, by the way, when I do a plus sign, I always make it red instead of black so that it's easier for me to find where the brand new scenes are rather than just where the edits are. I make just the plus sign red, not the entire sentence. But sometimes when I'm writing, I'll be like writing chapter 8, and then I'm like, oh, I also need this scene in the next chapter. Sorry, I'm at the studio and the security cameras are right behind you, so I'll just check in. So I'll be like, I'm writing chapter 8, and I know as I'm writing, I'm like, oh, this scene actually needs to come after this, and I don't have it, I'll just add it in. Or, oh, this scene can come in like 3 chapters, I'll add it in. So this isn't a set in stone thing. It's malleable. We play around with it. We got 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so 6 of the scenes before weren't done. And then we have part 4 plus these brand new scenes at the end. Okay, now. Oh. Okay, so one of the bullet points I had written down yesterday was to add backstories / moments / scenes, basically anything for character development or character assurance. I don't know what you would call it. So Loch and his family essentially are from the Holy Grounds. So they're from, like, they're religious. They're holy men, basically. Not just the men, the women there too, but like they're holy. Whereas Tali and Gwen and Ellen, all of them, they're from town. They're from cities. They're from their towns, which are less holy, I guess you would, kind of like how society is now. Like the smaller towns and stuff tend to be more religious. I could be making that up, but for sure the big cities aren't religious, you know? So kind of like that. So I want to add parts where you're really settled in the fact that they're religious. So like prayers and I don't know, moments like that. Another bullet point I had at the very beginning, like chapter 4 or something, I mentioned that Locke has been building an army behind him, and then I never mentioned it again. So I literally never mentioned it again. So it was like, either you're not doing that, or we need backstory on what you're doing. So those were the 2 bullet points I already had. Okay, let's start with the first one. Holly's given life, giving humans free will, introduction of beasts, the birds inform Locke. Okay, right here we can add we go. Also, the antagonist here. In draft 1, I had his reasoning behind it, something, and it doesn't feel right at all. It feels like a scapegoat. Like it feels like the easiest answer. So that's not the reason. The reason, by the way, I had was just him wanting to be God. You know, it's him wanting to erase the actual God and be basically a huge dictator that who thinks is God. It just feels like a scapegoat. It feels like too easy of a reason. So that's not going to be it. I'm tired. The one bad thing about outlining while I'm reading is I do the chapters as is, so I number the chapters as is. So later on, now when I go into add scenes, chapter 8 now becomes chapter 9, which means all of the chapters underneath it also need to change. I usually try not to touch those numbers until I'm done, because if I keep changing it, and then chapter 10 turned into chapter 12, and then suddenly it's chapter 16, it takes forever. Feels like someone's here, but they're not. I'm also really hungry, so don't mind me. No, right here. You know when you know what something is called, but you don't know what something is called? I can't remember what it's called. What is it called, bro? Oh my God. Is it called a smithy? Am I thinking the right word? I think I am. Yeah, I'm looking. Yeah, it's called smithy. And the smithy. Dun, 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 dun. Also, the scenes that I just put in that I'm essentially just gonna edit, like they're not additions, they usually end up being a lot longer. Not a lot, but like they usually end up being longer. So a 700 word scene will go to like a 900 or 1100 word scene. So I don't write additions for those because I know just as I'm working on it, it's just gonna grow. Loch and Tali talk. Talk about what? Talk about Ike. Oh, I know what they talk about. Actually, I remember. Here it is. Chapter 10 right there instead. You see, now I have 2 chapter 9s and 2 chapter 10s. Here, obsession. Yeah. There was definitely a different draft one for this. I promise you there was, because I'm looking at one of the scenes and I'm like, I remember that entirely differently. Yeah, there's something that happens. It still happens. It just happens completely different location. Not completely different way, but different way. That's funny. Yeah, there was definitely a different draft to this. Okay, I need to go back. Oh. I'm a wee bit tired. A smidgen or so. I don't know what chapter it's in. Oh, okay. All right. Where is it? There it is. On the ground, Vaughn in the scene. That one definitely needs more to the scene. Or, yeah, no. Okay. There. Definitely more here. At least a couple of scenes because it was way too fast. I know you don't know what I'm talking about, but can't say it because then she's gonna spoil. Unfortunately. Unfortunately. Ooh, ooh, Locke is so sexy. He's like a nerdy sexy. Alistar in Broken is like the tough sexy. He's a vampire, you know, he's strong. And don't get me wrong, Lachlan's strong. But he's like a nerdy, like Milo in Atlantis. Kinda like that. But like stronger. Because he's also a blacksmith and stuff. He's sexy. Excuse me. Beautiful. Pacing so far still feels right. Oh, there was one thing about character development in like the first scene that you see with Lachlan. He talks about killing people. And I'm just like, that doesn't feel authentic to his character. I don't know. Maybe I didn't realize it because it was the first scene with him. So like, I just didn't know him yet. But I was like, it's not it. Mind you, he probably would if he needed to. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll play around with it. Lachlan talks to me more now than he did when I was writing that one scene. Um. Ooh, I love that chapter. There's this one chapter. It's currently like 1,000 words. It'll probably be a little bit longer, but not too much longer when I edit it. Where you're following like a slew of characters, right? You're following the main Loch and Tali, but there's also a slew of characters. And in this one chapter, everybody's writing in their journal slash sheets of paper. Some of them are journals, some of them sheets of paper, but everybody's writing. And I just love the way that chapter is done. I'm like obsessed with it. I low-key want another one like that, but I don't know if it'll fit into the story. Like I didn't do that on purpose. That scene literally just came to me. So we'll see. But I love that chapter. I love it. Those all feel right. Oh, you know what we could do here? The birds. If you've read, this is just me rambling while I work, apparently. If you've read the Rexford and Sloane series by Andre Penrose, it's one of my favorite series. Book 9 actually comes out this month. Yeah, I still haven't read book 8. It's on my Kindle, I just haven't read it. But in that book, you have Hawk and Raven are two kids who are street urchins who don't have real names. They go by Hawk and Raven. And then they basically get taken in by Charlotte, who's Sloane, in the Rexford and Sloane series. And then eventually get taken in by Rexford and Sloane. I love them. So when I was writing Beast, it naturally came that like there were these street urchin children. And I was like, oh, Hawk and Raven? There's a lot of them. It's not just Hawk and Raven. But that is inspiration did come from that. So they're called the Birds. It's this group of children. I know I want the birds incorporated more. I just don't know what I want this incorporation to be. So we're just gonna put, and sometimes I do this too. Sometimes I'll put, like if I know I need a scene with one person or like a group of people or whatever, I'll put their names and then I'll just dot because I don't know. And then hopefully I figure it out by the time I get to that scene. Or sometimes I figure out like later. No, it's in chapter, let's say 15. But I'm writing chapter 3. I'm like, oh, now I know. And sometimes I don't know until I get to chapter 15. Sometimes even then I'm like, I still don't know. So I skip it. I go to chapter 19. And then I'm like, oh, and then I go backwards. Yeah, I talk a lot. Anyway. The birds do something. Journals. Yep. What is that chapter looking like currently? I don't know what chapter it is. It's this one. Yeah, it's this one. Yeah. Oh, it's a beautiful chapter. Oh, I'm telling you, my heart. Yes. And okay, so I'm filming my weekly vlogs too, and in the coffee shop, I'm not going to be filming. One, because it's loud, but also because it's embarrassing. So I was sitting there just reading. It took a few hours. I got it done. But in the middle of it, I read this next scene that I was just looking at, and I promise, like I felt it. So I felt it so much. I got up, went to the bathroom because it's single room bathrooms over there. So I went to the bathroom just so I could film talking about it really quickly for the vlog, and then I went back. But it like ached. It was like in a good way. It was so I love. I'm telling you, this one is more emotional. It's about God's grace, but it's more emotional. Whereas Broken is just more fun. They both have their fun and emotional sections, but this one is just more emotional, which just makes like moments like this like ugh, you know. One of the greatest blessings I've given to myself recently is not calling myself an author as a career, going back to it as like a hobby again, because when I first started writing, 2020, during lockdown, it was during NaNoWriMo lockdowns. I was doing it as a hobby. Like I had heard of self-publishing, but I wasn't doing it to self-publish. I was just doing it for fun, and I was enjoying it. And even after I decided to self-publish, like they were still fun because I didn't have an audience or anything, so I wasn't expecting any of it. But then as a year, 2 years go by, and you're like, okay, now I'm expecting audiences, and it's not coming, then it starts to kill you. And now I'm almost 4 years. I'm 3.5. And November 30th will be 4 years as a published author, because A Luring Darkness came out on the 30th of November 2021. The idea came to me October 23rd, 2020. So pretty great wraparound time. So almost 5 years of being an author, in the sense that October 23rd I count it, but November 30th as a published author, you know? But these past couple of years especially, it's way down on me because I'm not getting any sales or anything. So recently, like maybe a month ago or so, I was like, it's a hobby again. It's an expensive hobby because I'm still going to spend money on it, but it's a hobby again. And it's been such a nice blessing because it just feels so at ease now. Anyway, I'm telling you, I talk a lot. I need to stop. This is why I also can't study with people, because I will distract both of us. What the hell was I going to write here? Oh no. I don't know what I was going to do. Love and the cherish, Kieran and the beasts, the girls. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like you need another chapter here. There's a trilogy. I think it's called Of Monsters and no, that's a book. Is that a book? Whatever. There's something out there that's called Of Monsters and Men. And I just wrote something and I was like, oh, that would actually be a good series name for this. Because Monsters and Men is what make beasts. I don't know. We'll see. I added one scene of it being holy and then I forgot about it. So let me go back. Let me go back. Ooh. Right here. Remember how I said that one scene where everybody's writing their journal / piece of paper? We got another one. We got another one and it fits perfectly. Like that wasn't gonna be the scene, but that's the scene. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Currently, there are approximately 49 edit scenes, 23 additional scenes. And also, when I was writing draft 1, I try to do this, especially now, but I'm not very good at it. Is when I'm writing drafts, I try to write the bonus scenes at the same time instead of waiting to write the whole draft and then write bonus scenes, because I never end up doing it afterwards. So if I want a bonus scene, it has to be done at the same time as the draft. But then my productivity is like, no, but that's not like part of the plan, even though it is, but it's not part of the written plan. But I don't know when I'm gonna want a bonus scene, you know? But in draft 1, I wrote a bonus scene following in Elle's perspective. So we already got one. Why was I coming here? Oh. I'm so confused. Okay, why is this not giving me my stats? Usually. Anyway, it's not giving me my stats. I'll probably have it here actually. This is my writing journal. Draft 1 finished with. I think I finished on like Valentine's Day or somewhere around there. Yeah. Finished on Valentine's Day. 51,011-ish words, not counting the bonus scenes or anything. So approximately 51,000 words is what I need to edit before, well, not before, as I write the rest. What day is today? Is the 5th of September 2025. All right, let me go through. Boss slave. You know when you don't know what to call something? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 22, 23, 24, 25, 7, 28, 29, 30, 1, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 1, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49. Okay, yeah, so it is 49. I did see this. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 additional scenes. So approximately 74 scenes altogether for beasts only. And that's approximately because I will probably, most likely, be adding more scenes in as I write. That's normally how draft twos go for me. So approximately 74 scenes. Then Faith's outline currently has nothing in it. I actually do think I had. Hold on. I have a document for Faith, so I might already have some stuff for an outline thrown in there. I don't. I sure don't. Okay. I don't remember if I mentioned it. I think it was month 7 of 18. That's where I'm gonna put it for now. Loki, this is jokes. It's not gonna be jokes, by the way. Faith of anything is gonna be the hard one to work on, but also to read. Well, to read more, but also for me to work on. Which is why I want to do it slowly. Doing this all at once will kill me. But if I already know stuff, then as I go back to talk about it in Beasts, I won't talk about all of this. I'll talk about maybe, like, I'll mention little things. I can go back and write it. That's easier done if it's already in the manuscript. Isn't that month 1 though? Yeah. Currently have 9 scenes in Faith. The way Faith is going to be broken down, at least outline wise, is by month. So they're there for 18 months. So it's technically 19 months because I'm doing month 0, so right before it happens, to those full 18 months. And then under each month, I'm doing just bullet points of what happens that month. So it could be an array of characters. We'll see, right? honestly, I'm kind of okay with the amount we have now. We have how many scenes? 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 scenes that aren't really scenes. They're just like ideas of scenes for Faith. I'm not mad at it. It's not a bad amount. Plus 74 for Beasts. Let's call it an even 20 for Faith. At the very least, that we'll have to write for draft 1. Probably more. Let's call it an even 20. Actually, let's call it even 21. So that we can just round up to 95 scenes all together. So, on the basis, actually, let me write this down. Okay. Currently, Beast has approximately 74, and Faith has approximately 12. Let's move that up to 21, which means approximately 95 scenes. My habit tracker has my weekly goal of how many scenes I want to get done per week at 7 scenes. Obviously, ideally more, but at 7 scenes. So, 95 scenes divided by 7 a week equals, what is that? I don't know if I do math right now. 13 and a half weeks. That's over 3 months. That's way longer than I want this to take. Now, where's my phone? Assuming I start on the 8th, on Monday. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That'll get us to the 10th, 11th of December. Ooh, no. Way too long. My goal is to have it done by Halloween. Which gives us 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, approximately 8. It's like 7.5. Approximately 8. Let's call it 8. Divided by 8 weeks instead means I need to have approximately 12 scenes done a week between Beast and Broken, not just Beasts. Not Beast and Broken, Beast and Faith, not just Beasts. October is also my marathon month, so on the 4th, and to be fair, I'm probably not going to be writing out 4th and 5th anyway, but 4th and 5th, I'll be away in Long Beach for that. We still don't have our Airbnb. We actually need to book something. And then on the 15th to the 18th, I'm going to be in Boston. I feel like I had one more thing. It's my birthday, but that's not it. Okay. 12 scenes, of which, 95 scenes, of which about 49 are edits. That doesn't necessarily make it easy, but it makes it simpler because the scene is already there. So, more than half are edits. It's a good thing. Okay, cool. That was my goal for today, was literally just to get these outlines done. I always can start and just do one scene today. Will I? Probably not. Probably won't. But I've got time because it's 12:20 now. I have a heated mat Pilates class at 3:45, but it's a bit of a walk, so I'll probably leave here at like 3:10, 3:15. So in about 3 hours, I'll leave here, take that class, walk back, and then I might teach tonight. Actually, let's see if anybody's booked. Currently, no one's booked. Or last time I checked, no one was booked. Yeah, see, still no one's booked. So if they don't book, then I'll have free time after my heated mat Pilates class. If they book, then I'll have about an hour when I get back before I need to teach. So we'll see. If I have free time, I might end up working on a chapter or two. Not a chapter or two, a scene or two. But also, I've got 3 hours where I do need to do some other stuff, but I could always come back to it. We'll see. This has been so much fun. This has just been me. It's just been me rambling. It's really nice having no one here because I could just ramble. Yeah, that's done. Might work on it today again. Might not. If I don't, I was gonna say I'm not gonna work on it tomorrow, but I might work on it tomorrow. I'm not sure. Based on the plans I have, I don't think I'll work on it tomorrow, but I could always add it in if I'm just feeling in the mood. Sunday I won't work on it because Sunday I have something. But then we have Monday, and Monday will for sure be working on it. But that has been so much fun. Bye.